All right, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Let me just cue up the sound, make sure everything's good. Welcome. I want to thank you for joining us. Exciting topics, exciting things to talk about. Happy Day of the Sun, July the 14th, 2024. I want to give a shout out and say happy birthday to my brother. He turned 40, I believe, July the 12th. Let me know the sound quality. We have lots to deal with, obviously. We'll talk about the elephant in the room. You feel free to weigh in on any topic you find important to weigh in on. Don't forget to use the comment section. And don't forget to come in hitting the thumbs up button. We really appreciate you for being here. You know, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to briefly touch on the spectacle that was yesterday involving one Donald Trump. We'll touch on that a little bit. Do a little study on a few terms, words. Yeah, so definitely a lot on the mind today. Heavy. What does all of this mean for us going forward? Also going to discuss the case that you may have heard of, but may not be too familiar with. That being Citizens United, a 2010 case involving the discussion of corporate persons, artificial persons, and what have you, and the rights that they have received. And the belief of the opposite or opposing side or the dissenters to that decision, giving corporations the same rights, many of the same rights as you as a human being, and discussing why that is, and why I believe that that decision is going to be hard pressed to be overturned, involving the rights of the corporation, the legal persons, etc., etc. So we'll get into a little bit of that as well. Come on in, hit that thumbs up button. We'll give a few moments before we really get going. I woke up a bit late, so I'm shaking out the cobwebs here. We usually are going live about 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, but it's 11:15. It's the start of the day. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. Make sure that you send a invite to someone concerning this live. Also, make sure that you subscribe and again share. I greatly appreciate that. We will get going here in short order. To begin, I want to, before we jump in to the specifics on Trump and okay, I want to remind you of politics, the definition, the thought process behind it, or them, it, whatever, so that I can kind of lay a foundation and illuminate, as you will, our pathway. All right, so we're going to start again with William Blackstone and his treatise on corporation laws. As you know, England is who we have mirrored our legal system from. We mirror the laws and what have you. When they came over here, they being the settlers and all that kind of, or settlers, colonizers, when they came over here, they brought a lot of it with them. They didn't just start 100% fresh. Establishing and bringing about this new experiment, as it was referred to a lot yesterday. I was surprised at how many times the commentators were saying this American experiment, which is to me indicative that they truly understand that that this is an experiment, something that they did not know was going to be successful. In other words, right, when you're experimenting, you may be going into it with some intellect, but you are not certain of the outcome. Okay, so this was an experiment. So they took a little bit of this from England and a little bit of that, and they tried it out. So anyways, William Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England, a lot of which, again, we've adopted, excuse me, here at our foundation. And you're going to see here, he is going to go in, if I can share my screen here. Let's try it this way. Someone said to make sure that I put myself in the share screen. Why you want to see me, I don't know. But we'll try it out and see if I can get it to work here. There it is. Here I go. All right. So you're looking at it. The rights of persons. Okay. I'm going to do this in review. This is going to be more important now than ever before, this information here. And I don't really hear anybody going over it, even though I've put this up probably over the last 5 years pretty repetitively. And this is talking about the purpose, the reason for artificial persons, aka legal persons, aka legal personalities, all right, that each one of us have as a citizen, especially of the US. Okay. You have it. Now, does this give you a scapegoat or an ability to claim that because it's a legal personality, which is a fictitious entity, that, you know, it has nothing to do with me? I'm not one and the same with it as, you know, some of the, you know, ideologies of what they call sovereign citizens. You know, they tried to make those arguments in court and what have you, and they really, you know, contributed to nothing. They never resulted in anything positive towards their mission. And I contend, you know, they didn't have a deeper understanding or a relevant understanding of what is really going on. But you, hopefully, in me sharing these treaties on the laws of England, it will become clear to you. Okay, so we have hitherto considered persons in their natural capacities. The first part of this, or first half of this paragraph, this part here, is going to be talking specifically and making the distinction concerning the natural rights of a human being in opposition to the legal rights that are man created, okay, constructed of men. Please make sure you share this video. It's very important, very vital, especially in regards to the climate of our political community, our states, the state of the nation, and what have you today. It's very important that people get this understanding. And when you do get this understanding, let me just say, you will culture a greater peace of mind about those things that are going on around you. When you understand what politics really are, I think most people have the sentiment or belief that this is becoming, or is a game, which you'll see it is. It's a different type of game, but it is a game nonetheless. And you need to understand the rules to that game. Why are we, why is our nation so destabilized or capable of being this destabilized in an upheaval? It's because there's the people that know and there's the people that don't know. Okay. And so we're going to help the people that don't know today so that they can get some peace of mind. They can know that this is actually a controlled type of demolition, as it were. And fear not, you know, fear not. Fear not. The God in you is stronger than they that are against you, as it were. So we'll reveal that. But please make sure you share this to your Facebook page or whatever. This is very important. The public needs to know exactly why this looks the way it does, why our nation, the state of our nation, is as it is right now. The old world needs to go bye-bye. The old experiment, the American experiment, the U.S. experiment, whatever you want to call it, is designed. All right. It's not my will and my wish. It's just the way that the system is constructed to shake out. So make sure that you share this to your Facebook page. This is very important, once again, for the public to know exactly what is going on. All right. He or she that does not know their rights, quite frankly, as it's stated, has none. All right. So this is a capitalist type system. And therefore, if you do not know how to function within it, someone is going to capitalize on your misfortune, on your ignorance. That's, you know, capitalism, as it were. You drop it, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to use it. And I'm going to increase off of what you dropped. I'm going to gain interest from what you dropped. Okay. I'm going to apply it towards my family, my estate, and I'm going to grow it because you did not know what you had. Okay. Capitalism. I'm going to capitalize from your misfortune. And that's, as they say, the way of the beast. That's just the way it is here. Okay. This is a grand experiment, they call it, the American experiment. All right. So let's go on. So the first part of this, once again, is having to do with your natural rights as distinguished from the second part, which will be discussing the necessity for legal persons, artificial persons, constructs of law. Okay. We have hitherto considered persons in their natural capacities. Okay. And have treated of their rights and duties. But as all personal rights die with the person. Okay. So talking about a physical mortality. Okay. Expiration of your physical self, your physical form. As all personal rights die with the person, and as the necessary forms of investing a series of individuals, one after another, with the same identical rights would be very inconvenient, if not impracticable, it has been found. Here's the legal side now. Because of the fallibility, the finite ability, the mortality of humans, all right, we realized essentially that they cannot hold their own personal rights once they die. They will pass on to someone else, or someone will convert them into their own property. Remember, they say that possession is 9/10 of the law. Okay. The law is strict and stringent. It doesn't really bend. Once it's written, codified, it is what it is. So if you were in possession of something, they considered that, hey, you must be the owner of it at one particular point in time, and then they introduced a people's remedy known as the courts of chancery, equitable courts. Then you get into the trust scenario because of the strict nature of what they call law. Okay. So the people's remedy was equity. In other words, more fairness was the consideration. Fairness. We'll get into that perhaps a little bit later in the discussion of the courts of law and the courts of equity. So because, again, of the personal, the fallibility, the mortality of your human self, they found that when you died and had, let's say you amassed much wealth over your lifetime, when you died, your rights died with you. So anyone could come along and find your property, your estate, now that you have died, and say, well, this is vacant. Nobody is here. So this property must be fair game. And they would set up camp and take over your property. Okay. You're dead anyway. So all your rights have died with you, is what they're saying. And then it might be very difficult for your spouse, or let's say you're a woman or a child, even if you died and left a child out in the middle of nowhere, let's say, and that child is under the age and not competent or legally competent, it might be difficult for your child to make a claim to that property, whereas if a stranger, being an adult and coming upon your estate and finding your sole child there and underage, trying to defend the home front, might just take over, your child be damned, just take over and kick your child out. Now you're dead. You're not there to help defend. And so this is why, they found that this is a very important discussion in the creation of what they call legal persons, because, this type of thing was happening. Pirates and, robbers and thieves were coming upon vacant property, even if you were away at war or were traveling. You didn't have automobiles, perhaps, you didn't have automobiles, that get you from point A to B in an hour. Back then you were on, I guess horseback or wagons and all that kind of stuff. So, a week's journey could turn out to be a month. What I'm saying? So the point is, you could be leaving your property unattended for a length of time. And then there would be people that would come by looking perhaps to take that over. Okay. So again, your rights die when you die. This is the problem they're presenting. Your rights die when you die, when you cease to exist. So they wanted a remedy for that. So they found it. It has been found necessary when it is for the advantage of the public, okay, to have any particular rights kept on foot and continued to constitute artificial persons, okay, who may maintain a perpetual succession and enjoy a kind of legal immortality. This is why they created what they call legal persons or artificial persons. Again, this discussion, if you're just coming in, we are laying the basis and foundation, discussing the elephant in the room being Donald Trump and the spectacle that was yesterday. And we're going to give an understanding and lay a foundation concerning why the U.S., the state of our nation, is as it is, why it's important for us to understand politics, the nature of politics. As I stated before, many people believe that it is a game, and I contend the same, and I'm going to demonstrate for you. But you must understand the rules to this game and why it is a game, and what the founders, the colonizers, the establishers of the nation states and what have you, what they had in mind when they did it. Okay. And so we're going to uncover that here for you. And then I'll sound off, on a little bit of my conjecture and belief going forward, what's going forward. What are we going to be looking at going forward based on my own intelligence, what I've studied over the last 9 years regarding this topic. So hopefully you'll stick around. Make sure if you're coming in now, you hit that thumbs up button for me real quick, and hold on, because it's going to get very bumpy here. It's going to get very bumpy. I've been saying that things are going to get much darker before we see any measure of light in the future. And so far, I'm 100% on my predictions. Okay. And we'll go into that too. So, because again, of the fallibility of a human being, all right, it was found here, you're seeing on the screen, that it was necessary to create artificial persons so that you can have a type of perpetual succession when it comes to your rights, your property, your assets, your children, what have you. Okay. This is the only way that they figured that they can deal with the topic or the situation. And that person, that legal person, could enjoy a kind of legal immortality. This, I contend, and I will prove, all goes to the topic and discussion of politics. These are the originals here. This is the laws, the treaties and the laws of England. This is where we get our foundational American jurisprudence. We borrowed a lot of the laws from England, as you see here. And this is William Blackstone, okay, talking about the rights of persons, the treaties on the laws and the rights, okay? And so this is foundational. This was written around 1765, okay? So this is preceding the United States and the United States Constitution of 1789. So you can kind of see the pecking order here, right? Okay. So they created what is known as legal persons or artificial persons to provide for each of those families, those individuals, those aristocratic individuals, a type of perpetual succession, because that was very important in legacy building. Okay. If you didn't own any land and you didn't inherit any land, you were considered nothing. I mean, there was like landlords and there was tenants. Basically, there were tenants. Okay. And that was the pecking order. I forget what is serfs and something else. I forget. I'm drawing a blank. Okay. You were nobody if you didn't have any land. Okay. And therefore, if you didn't inherit any land upon the death of your family, your parents, you were nothing. You went into bondage. You went into slavery. You had nothing. That's the way it went. And so they wanted to make sure that they were able to hand things down. Okay, to keep your bloodline strong and what have you, and legal immortality. Okay, so now these artificial persons are called what? Bodies politic, meaning, there's corporal bodies and there's incorporeal bodies, right? Most of these corporations or corporations are take their existence on paper form, certifications, what have you, the birth certificate, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so they have a type of corporate body, or so they have they're called bodies politics or bodies corporate, or AKA corporations, of which there is a great variety subsisting. Okay, and the purposes of these include things like, corporations or corporate bodies for the advancement of religion, those be churches, right? Of learning, those be universities. Okay, that's a corporate or bodies politic. And then you have those for commerce or commercial purposes. Okay, so LLCs, S types, C type corporations, what have you. In order to preserve entire and forever those rights and immunities, okay, which, if they were graded only to those individuals of which the body corporate is composed, meaning the humans, those are who compose the corporate body. So those rights, if they were only graded to the human element, or the human individuals, would upon their death be utterly lost and extinct. They're doubling down on the aforementioned sentiment that the rights die with humans. So they're looking to remedy that situation by creating artificial persons. To show the advantage of these corporations, let us consider the case of a college in either of our universities. Founded, okay, I'm not going to try that, for the encouragement and support of religion and learning. Listen, here's a disclosure. If this was a mere voluntary assembly, meaning the college, if this was just voluntary, okay, as opposed to an encouragement and support, right, then the individuals which compose it might indeed read, might indeed pray, might indeed study. They might, and perform scholastic exercises together, so long as they could agree to do so. But they could neither frame nor receive any laws or rules of their conduct. Let me just break that down for you. That's very vital and very important. You want to know why body politics exists, why they created legal persons, artificial persons, politics, states, governments. These are all artificial and legal persons. They're disclosing to you that if they had not, perhaps people would work together, perhaps they would study together, but we could neither frame they could neither frame nor receive any laws or rules of their conduct. There would be no control. If people were just left as individuals and not coerced, as you'll see, into corporate forms, such as corporations, legal persons, artificial persons, there would be no regulation because they would have no allegiance to anything. They would all remain individuals, and nobody can tell you, not my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. This is one of the purposes and reasons of the legal form, the corporate form, corporate bodies, body politics, states, governments. So look, again, they could neither frame nor receive any laws or rules of their conduct, none at least which would have any binding force, for want of a coercive power to create a sufficient obligation. Let that set in for a moment. This is a disclosure. by one of, I would contend, the founders. William Blackstone, who's writing the treatise on the laws of England, predating by 20 or so years the foundation of the United States and its Constitution. You want to know this political system? It's a political experimentation. They were not certain, as I said in the very beginning, as to whether this would work. They did not see into the 2024s or 2020s and say, one day the United States is going to be 300 something million people, or, they pick whatever number. I don't know. Okay, whatever the number is. Forgive me. But they did not see this. They were living in the now. They had established 13 colonies. And I think there's like 1 million people in each colony. It was something like that. So it was nothing what it is today. 13 colonies, right? So what was their intent then? They're mirroring and establishing their political system, their American jurisprudence, in line with, for the most part, the laws of England. They adapted them. They brought them over here. And here you have the treaties from this very famous jurist known as William Blackstone, who was articulating and explaining exactly how and why we create these legal persons, these body politics, aka states and aka governments, these artificial persons. They're fictitious persons, but they are very necessary, because without which these aristocratic families that came over here, right? How are you going to continue your legacy? How are you going to have a perpetual succession, passing down your things to the next of kin, establishing your inheritors and your legacy to go on into the future? How are you going to do that? That was very important to them at that particular point in time. It's important to you today. It should be. You should be in trust and what have you. But I digress. And they wanted to create a type of legal immortality. This is not a consideration of the natural. This is not a consideration of you under natural law. Okay? This is them being concerned about 100 years from now, or what have you, making sure that their name lived on perpetually in succession, legally immortal. They have found eternal life, as we talked about last week. What is the main goal, mission of humanity, is to try to extend life, to find the fountain of youth, to have eternal life. This is why they're able to sell things in religion and what have you. They're selling you these things, telling you this is the way to find eternal life. So they can sell you these mythologies. Yeah, mythology. And it sounds so good, doesn't it? Well, what difference is that from this? These experimenters, these founding fathers, are basically selling you this. Come on and take citizenship. We have a great program. Yeah, courtesy of the United States, and its foundation and founding. And you come here, we have this great thing, this great thing we can establish for you. It's called citizenship, which establishes a legal link between a human and a legal state, a fictitious fictitious corporate body or body politic. And if you come here, we can establish your legacy out into the future. You'll have a perpetual succession. You can have eternal life, or aka a legal immortality. That's what we offer you. The things that you work for, you can bank them. You can put them into a trust, and they'll last for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. They'll outlast you. When you perish, they'll outlast you. This is what we offer here. It's a grand experiment. Trust me, you want to be here. Aren't you tired of being in your home country, where everything you work for can be taken over by the king? Well, come to the United States and we'll build you a corporate personality that will live on forever. Okay. So we're segueing into the definition of the term politics because we are talking about the elephant in the room again. Our topic today, the state of us, kind of a play on a word, the state of US, us, the trump card. What are politics? Why does it feel like everything is a game being played against you? Why does it seem like you lose and they always win? You know, is this a black swan? Is this a what's the other terminology? A psyop. Is this I forget the other one. False flag. Is this what this is? Everybody's wondering. This is exactly where, how should I put this delicately? We are right where they want us to be. Now you can fill in whoever they is, okay? Let's get into it. Now that I've laid the foundation, perpetual existence and a type of legal immortality, it was the goal. Okay. It's still extant today. It is a construct. It's something that was purposely constructed, contrived, and established at the onset of this experiment known as the United States. This was purposely established and constructed for the purposes of perpetual succession and a type of legal immortality. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna look at the comment section real quick. Let's see who's sounding off. All right. To see your expressions. Okay, I lost the context of that. BB Productions is sounding off. BB Production says, looks great. All right, thank you for that. Joseph Henson's in the house. Thank you for being here, Joseph, as usual. 777. I feel myself getting stronger. BB Production says, greetings to Joseph. Terry Camp is in the house. Thank you for being here, Terry. Appreciate your appreciation. Greetings to everyone. And greetings, Terry, from BB Productions. All right, let's get into it. I feel for those who are missing out on this initial broadcast. Soon they will realize the importance and the significance, won't they? But they'll just be on the late bus. It is what it is. The mission is the important thing, not my pride or my desire for a greater respect or whatever, right? The mission at this particular point is very important. And so I must do what I'm called to do, okay? That's all that matters. So they'll catch up. So here, let's just, now that we've laid our foundation, let's again revisit the Edemon Line Dictionary, okay, establishing the origination of words and terms, these themselves being contrivances, legal constructions. Let's look at politics. From the 1520s, it says the science. Science means the study of a thing. The science of, and art. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Politics is not only a science, but it's an art. Of what? Government. The of being the operative term. Okay? Meaning it comes, okay, from government. It's of government. They are performing a study. They are employing tactics of art. The political state of a country or government. We are addressing once again the elephant in the room. What did you see yesterday? Let me put my disclaimer out there. None of this is legal advice, nor intended to be or should be construed as legal advice. If you need legal advice, please seek yourself a competent attorney. This is not that place. All right, this is for educational purposes before I go any further, because you know I'm going to hit on that pretty hard. Let my people go. The people are deceived more so than ever before. Let's see if we can help with that. What are politics? That which we are witnessing, right? It's a science, meaning a study. Meaning I introduce a stimulus or stimuli. I stimulate you. And then I stand back to watch what it does to you. Get it? Got it? Good. It's an art. What is the purpose of art? For expression, isn't it? It could be singing, composing, drawing, right? Those are all forms of art. All for the purpose of expression. Excuse me. We'll get into that in a little bit. So that's what politics are. All right. The political state of a country or government. What is the state of our U.S. or of us? What is the state of us? From Old French politique and medieval Latin politica. All right, let's go a little bit deeper here. Let's see if they'll give us a little bit more to go on. All right, well, the sense of political actions or practice is from 1640s, meaning political allegiances or opinions of a person or party. Let's see if they give us anything else. This is the adjective describing. So pertaining to public affairs, that's government. Whenever you see government or public, think government. And whenever you see government, think public. Concerning the governance of a country or people. Okay. Directly from Latin politicus, of citizens or the state. There's that body politic. This is what they needed to create. Why? To make sure that there was a perpetual succession and a type of legal immortality concerning the rights of individuals. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that they were thinking of your rights in the 2020s at that particular point in time? I think not. Remember, if you weren't part of this experiment of the United States, if you were not originally one of the we the people, you weren't an inheritor. Therefore, you weren't an investor. Foreigners weren't part of this group. This was merely the colonies and the colonizers, those aristocratic families. That's who this is speaking of from the beginning. For the different classes to come into this grand experiment, there had to be amendments to the Constitution, meaning the founding fathers did not originally write you in. So this didn't pertain to you in the 1700s. This is talking about those wealthy elitists that came over here and, colonized, removed the indigenous and put their stake in the ground and took over everything. I mean, that's just what it is, or what it was. Are you able? Okay. I mean, that's just what it is, y'all. That's not to incite. I'm just speaking facts. I don't think anybody is debating as to whether what the colonizers did, right? And I think we're all in agreement that there were indigenous people here, right? Okay, we all agree. And so these were wealthy individuals that set up plantations and enslaved other people, basically, right? We agree? Duh, right? Duh. And so this had nothing, my point is, this had nothing to do with you. They did not look into the future and see you and your family, whether you're black, white, whatever. They didn't see you. A lot of you came from, Italy and Germany and all that kind of stuff. You were not one of the original people, we the people. So you weren't part of this consideration in 1765 or what have you. That's just what it is. So, okay. So they were, my point is, they created these corporate persons, these legal personalities in order to protect their interests, their property, their rights, their legacy. This had nothing to do with you. Okay. Okay. So we are looking at politics in light of this spectacle yesterday. Why is this happening to us? What does this mean? Why does it seem like our rights are slipping away? Why does it seem like government is growing and expanding? Why is it necessary to destabilize the current system? What's next? Will there be an election? What's next, right? That's what you want to know. So I wanted to start at the beginning, at the foundation of this so-called grand experiment to show you that the game, yes, it's rigged. It is. It's rigged by the people that established it. We can basically study and research their mindset, why they even put this thing together. We can go back and look as to why they even did it. This is too easy. The game has not changed. The game has not changed, just the players change. Put me in, coach, right? Put me in, coach. Just the players change. The game is locked. It's written. It is written, as Yeshua is quoted as saying. So if you want to know why you're experiencing spectacles such as yesterday, read through the history books. It's there. And we're going over that right here and right now. So politics, it's merely a study. Here it is. It's merely a science. Right here. It's a science. Science means a study of a thing. It's an experiment. They're introducing this to the equation. They're introducing this to the algorithm. They're mixing this here. And for what? To see what the result will be. And unfortunately or fortunately, we signed up to be part of the experiment. They send those notifications for sleep studies. We'll pay you. We're just going to introduce this into your system and watch you and observe you for a little bit. Yeah, you sign here. You're waiving your rights to sue us. But that $1,000 looks really good, doesn't it? You can use that, can you? And it's for a greater purpose. So would you just let us stick this in your arm and sign this waiver here, and let's get to work? And a lot of people do it. Sleep studies, whatever. Let us shock this part of your mind or your brain while you're sleeping or whatever. We just want to see what the effect will be. You don't mind, do you? Just sign right here. Waive your rights to sue us. Let us experiment on you. You're doing it for a great purpose, right? For people in the future. We just want to know what it does to you. That's an experiment, y'all. And that's what politics are. Science, the study of a thing. And it's also an art. Okay, let's move forward. So I went a little further. Let's see. Check this out. Check this correlation out. Okay. Now, if you've been around here for any amount of time, that we have uncovered Genesis in the discussion about the serpent. We know now that the serpent is not an actual snake, but it is a serpent, and that is to denote and connote a personality and character type of a particular beast, which symbolizes a system. So the serpent, it says here in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, We're still on politics. We are addressing the elephant in the room, making the greatest disclosure ever. Why are we seeing the spectacle on the world stage regarding politics? Before I weigh in on my personal conjecture, okay, and my belief. Genesis chapter, what I say? Chapter 3, verse 1 says, "Now the serpent," this is a beast. It is symbolic of a particular system. Okay, was more subtle. I want you to focus on that word. What does that mean? And we are from the King James right here. You see, I like to use that one, King James Version. Now, this beast, this system was more subtle. Yes. How do we know that is consistent? Because a serpent is, again, a characteristic, speaks with a forked tongue, very cunning, very sly. Those are the characteristics of this particular beast. Was more subtle than any beast, any system, any other system. This particular system, watch out, can sell ice to an Eskimo. Of the field which the Lord God had made. Yeah, you should know by now. If you don't, now you know. The Elohim, the Elohim. You know, it's a plural. It has a plural connotation, meaning gods, right? Okay, we can get into that later. So these aristocratic families, I'll just go out and put it out there for you. These elitists, these gods, Elohim, made these beasts. Uh-oh. Stepping on toes there, Courtney. These aristocratic families, shall I name a few? Established beasts, these systems. And this particular system took on the persona of a serpent because this system's characteristics and personality, unlike any other system, was more subtle. What does subtle mean? Here you go. Subtle. This is again the etymology, where the word came from. Circa 1300. Subtle. Penetrating. Ingenious. Refined. Of the mind. What did I tell you? Politics. The study of how to control the mind or the head. That's government. Govern means to control. We'll get there. Meant suggests the mind or the head. What was the spectacle you witnessed yesterday? Now, let me put my disclaimer once again. Am I saying that there was no actual trauma? No, I'm not making that claim. I'm going to be very cautious because I would like to keep this up. I don't, they tend to be taking stuff down now. This is why I'm not putting up any videos regarding the incident. We'll just refer to it as the incident yesterday. Okay. China. I'm trying to be very cautious. This is very important. The purpose of this is to divulge and disclose to the people. We have to wake up and realize what we have signed on to. Is this an anti-government rant? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is a system. It is a beast. It is the serpent. It is what it is. We took citizenship therein, signed on. Okay. Look, this is that beast, that serpent, okay. of the mind. Look, sophisticated, intricate, abstruse, of arguments. Whoa. Who makes arguments? Legal arguments. Legal arguments. This particular beast, this particular system. You want to know why we're dealing with these political games and what have you. Subtle, adapt, adroit, cunning. This particular beast system that we are part of. Wise, detailed, look, well crafted. You know, black swans, psyops, well crafted. From Latin subtilis, fine, thin, delicate, finely woven, well planned, figuratively, precise, exact, accurate in taste or judgment, fine, keen, of style, plain, simple, direct. Okay? Excuse me. We're looking at Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more keen, more subtle than any other beast of the field, any other system, which the Elohim, the elitists, the upper echelon, they created it. They constructed these beast systems, but this one in particular was more subtle than any other system. Listen. Look, there's one term here, artful. This is subtle. Well crafted. I want to focus on this right here because it's going to take us somewhere. Politics. Political. Beast. Well crafted. Refined. Right? Look at this term. Artful. Remember, politics, the science and art of what? Government. Did you know that you're being studied? Aside from just the census, where they ask you those questions to read the climate of the nation, did you know you're being studied? You want to know why you're seeing things, spectacles like you're seeing? It's to study you. China. You're being studied. And they're using art. And who's using this art? The government is using the art. They're using well-crafted tactics. This is what subtle is. This particular beast was more subtle than any other beast. This particular system was more subtle, more cunning, more intricate, more sophisticated, more cunning, more wise, more detailed than any other beast of the field. Let me say, without saying, what we're dealing with. This grand experiment of 200, just over 200 years old, right, has dominated ancient worlds and countries. Could you do that? Could you penetrate like that? Unless you were the most ingenious, refined, sophisticated, intricate, abstruse, subtle, adept, cunning, wise, detailed, well-crafted nation. Could you do that? Could you deceive the whole world? The youngest nation, second only to Israel. But they're like cool with each other, ain't they? That reminds me of a story in the scripture, Old Testament, one by the name of Joseph, the coat of many colors. We're gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna have to do a part two. If you want to do your cheat notes and go ahead and look at that story of Joseph. Oh Lord, what have I done? What have I done? You're gonna see this young and younger nation in that. How is that possible? How could the scriptures be demonstrating both Israel and the United States being written so long ago? How is that possible? Yeah, because if you remember the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors, there was even a younger brother still, but they were the two youngest, Joseph and I forget the younger brother's name. And if you see what happened there, I present to you the United States and Israel. But I digress. We'll get into that perhaps next week. Come back for that one. Banger. All right, so here we go. Again, this particular nation that and its politics being the science, the study of, they study their citizens. Red flag, what do they call it? Red flags, black swans, psyops. They study their people. And they use art. They're very skilled. What is subtle? Once again, and lastly, it is, where was that term? Where was it at? Where did it say? Right here, artful. It's subtle. All right, moving on. Let's look at government just for a moment before we move forward. Government. Act of governing or ruling. System. Is that not consistent with what Genesis says here? Here. The serpent was more subtle. That serpent, that beast right here, than any beast. The beast is the system. So it's talking about a particular system. What is a government? A system by which a thing is governed, especially a state. And what is a state, class? Right here. What is a state? A body's politic, a body's corporate, or a corporation. Okay? For the advancement of religion, of learning, and of commercial trade. That's what the government rules over, the state, especially governs the state, a body politic. It's an artificial person, a legal person, providing legal immortality and a perpetual succession. These are man-made constructs. And in fact, the term legal is a man-made construct, distinguishable from natural law, right? The statutes, the codes, the ordinances are called positive laws. I've shown you that. I can show it to you again if you need. Those are distinguishable from, again, natural laws. One is man-made. One is a man-made construct. The other one is natural, meaning not made by man. One preexists the other. One allows for the other one to exist, etc., etc. All right, we've covered all of that. So hopefully we've laid a great foundation regarding politics, which is an artistic use of governments. An experiment such as the United States, which studies the people to test the climate, to test the resolve of the people, to see what makes them tick, and then to use that experiment and the results thereof to control and to govern the people. Why are you seeing spectacles such as the one we've seen yesterday? Because they need to know what they need to do going forward. Why do scientists perform experimentation? To address either a future threat or to provide a direction to the future. It's all about the future. You may know things, well, I'm not even going to go there. Okay. That's what politics are. You see it for yourself. This is not conjecture. This is not something I just made up. That's what politics are. You are being studied, and they use a form of art cleverly, artistically, well crafted, precise. This is what they use in order to study you, in order to control, in order to govern you. That's what it is. And it is captured. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button for me, please. I got 6 people watching and only 5 people, 5 thumbs up. If you appreciate this type of information, please indicate it by giving that thumbs up. Appreciate it. I'll take your comments. I really don't want to go too fast and too far without making sure that you get it. If you get it, please give me a 777 in the comment section. If I have clearly articulated for you, if I have done my duty, my job, that which I am called to do, then please indicate that now in the comment section. 777. While I'm waiting on that, I want to do a solid to an individual that I've come to respect and to revere and to hold high as a YouTube content provider. And that is, we know the truth now. I would strongly encourage you, especially if you look like me, but even if you don't, all right, to visit We Know the Truth Now. We need to protect that man at all costs. Let me just say this, my disclaimer. If I endorse someone, enough said. Okay? We Know the Truth Now. Please go on over and check them out. Let them know that KnowledgeWell, that'd be a great honor if you let them know that KnowledgeWell sent you over there in the comment section while you're watching. KnowledgeWell sent me. Blow it up. Blow it up. Let them know KnowledgeWell sent you over there. You will thank me later, especially if you look like me. He is single-handedly uncovering what I contend is the actual truth and history of people that look like me, and you perhaps. If I endorse him, okay, we need to protect that man at all costs. He is putting it all on the line. Okay? We know the truth now. Let him know that I sent you. All right? Let him know that KnowledgeWell Media, please, in the comment section. Okay? I want to work with that man. Let him know that we sent you over there. Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. We now know that the serpent is a characteristic and a personality. I only got 2 777s. All right. Even on replay. Load it up 777s in the comment section, please, if you appreciate this information. And please hit that thumbs up button. We are uncovering here, KnowledgeWell Media. Okay? We are uncovering the spectacle that was yesterday. Is it the claim of KnowledgeWell Media that there wasn't real blood, that there wasn't really a hit? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I am comprehensively addressing the elephant in the room, and that elephant being politics, and politics being, as you saw, the science and art of government. And that this art is referred to is no different from the art here from Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, when it says that this beast, this system was more subtle. What is subtle? Again, artful, skilled, clever. Ever feel like they're pulling very artfully skilled and clever situations on you? Well planned, well put together. Very precise and exact, subtle. You ever feel like that? Government, right? For purposes of controlling. Government, to steer, to pilot. Again, we said that government is merely the study of how to control the mind. That's the terminology. I'm not speaking specifically about any particular government. That's just the etymology of the word itself. So here it is again. Government, to steer. To steer what? The head and the mind of the people. Seeing is believing, they say. So all I have to do is project onto a movie screen, TV screen, by the news or any other outlet, what I want you to focus on, greatly impacting your psyche, indoctrinating, right? Your minds, to steer you, to pilot. See, there's govern. Right here. To rule with authority, to steer. See? Control of the head and the mind. To be at the helm of, rule, command, direct. Okay? To guide. To steer, to pilot. This is originally. So when you govern or govern someone, you're steering them. The question is, how are you doing it? Are you doing it through science? First, you have to study someone, right? To understand them, to see what makes them tick. You can't steer it otherwise, right? And you must use art, especially if you don't want them to know that they're being steered in the head or in the mind. So you have to do it artfully. Well, as Genesis chapter 3 says, again, this particular beast was more subtle, more cunning, more crafty, more wise than any other beast of the field, which the Elohim, the aristocratic families, the power structure, the hidden hand had made. Right? And then, you know, the story goes on, right? Further deceit, beguilement, right? I want to also, you know, bring back to your attention, we've been covering over the last several lives, the stories of like the Tower of Babel, how these same Elohim are watching. They even refer to them as the watchers, right? In like the Apocrypha and all that. The watchers. See? Studying politics, the science of government. See? The upper echelon, the elitists, they are the watchers. They are the Elohim, the sons of God, right? The ones that establish those mythologies, mythological creatures and beings, right? They deify their own selves because of their proximity and their status in the community. They deify themselves. Again, go see, go over to We Know the Truth Now. He does a bang up job of articulating this and demystifying these mythologies. Oh my goodness. Forget about it. Let them know that KnowledgeWell Media sent you over there, please. KnowledgeWell Media. See, these elitists have been in position, these bloodlines. That's why the legacy conversation, you know, that we had previous is important. This is why these artificial persons were created, to keep that perpetual succession, that legal immortality, as they put it. Right? So these upper echelon, these elitists remain in power. The bloodlines remain in power so that they are able to remain as the government, the governance, so that they are able to perform these scientific studies on the politic, or on the polity, the people of the nation, to use art to skillfully do it so that they are not discovered. So why are we experiencing these types of spectacles? These political spectacles. Why? Because you are being studied. Because they must use art, clever means, in order to govern. And again, these upper echelon, these elitists, these Elohim, these gods who sit on high and look down low upon the citizens of the nation. Remember, a citizen is a subject status by definition. Black's Law, 5th edition, unabridged or abridged. Abridged, 5th edition. Here, let's just take a look one more time. Refresher. Nothing wrong with refreshing, right? We got to get this. What is a citizen? In light of all the aforementioned, I'm going to show you why all of this fits in, why it's all consistent, why it makes perfect sense. Let's look at it. Why it makes perfect sense. Let's take a look. What is a citizen? What is a citizen? Again, this is a character that finds themselves subject to the politics, to the governance, right? They are the ones governed. So let's see if it's consistent, in line with everything that I just articulated to you. All right, if I can just clear for you. What is a citizen? Is that clear enough for you to read? Excuse me. What is a citizen? I guess that might be as good as it gets. This is one who, under the Constitution, there's the proximity. This is where you're at. You're under the Constitution and its laws, the laws of the United States. This is what a citizen is. Or of a particular state, is a member. What happens when you become a member of something? You then must follow its laws, its policies, in order to obtain the benefits, right? So you are governed in a sort of way. You're is a member of what type of community? A political community. We just established what politics are. It's a community which studies you, its citizen, its member. Why or how? Through artful and clever means, to see what makes you tick so that they can govern you. Control. Moving on. A citizen is one who owes allegiance. Owes, that means you're a debtor. And being entitled to the enjoyment of full civil rights, emphasis on civil rights, because those are not natural rights. Civil suggests contracts. The nation state is under what's known as a social compact, which is a type of civil contract. So, therefore, you obtain civil rights. In order to obtain these civil rights, you must give up your natural rights. You can't have them both, because it would be like joining a country club and they have their own policies, rules, and procedures. But after joining, you come in and you decide you want to do what you want to do as a member of this organization. Do you think that's going to fly? Do you think you're going to be able to do whatever you want when you join someone else's organization or affiliate or association? Probably not, right? So you're going to take on a different type of rights once you join. Why? Because you're joining something that existed prior to you being part of it. It already had rules, organizational bylaws, and what have you. By you becoming a member, aka a citizen, you are saying, and you often sign off to saying, that you will abide by their policies and rules. When you become an employee, they make you go through a lengthy process of orientation, basically inducting you into something that existed prior to your participation. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So this is what a citizen is. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject. See, that's what a citizen is. So you are under the control or governance. And when you become part of it, you become part of its politics. Let me say that again. When you become a citizen of a particular state or of a government or what have you, when you become a member, a type of legal link is established, and therefore you are governed by that particular state. And therefore, becoming a member, you agree to take part in its politics. Let me say that one more time. You agree contractually, social compact. You agree to take part in its politics. And let me remind you once again what politics are. This is what you agreed to, everyone. You agree to take part in its science, meaning you agree to be studied. And you agree that this particular control structure will perform artistic and clever schemes against you or with you, involving you. They are going to do cunning, well-crafted things regarding your citizenship. Very subtle. Artistic, they're going to perform artistically and skillful things regarding you and your citizenship now that you're a member. They're going to work clever schemes against you. That's what you agreed to as a citizen. Huh? As a loyal subject to the state or government, you are under its jurisdiction. Let's finish off this definition in the Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, abridged. As a citizen, a member of a political community, it is a type of community which studies you. Remember politics. It studies you using artful and clever and crafty means. It learns you, in other words. That's the type of community a citizen is part of and joins via contract. Check this out. You're a member of a political community who, in their associated capacity, have established or submitted themselves to the dominion of a government for the promotion of their general welfare and the protection of their individual as well as collective rights. Listen, y'all. You are acting in this as a citizen, as a member. You are acting in a particular capacity, meaning this is the particular power that you have obtained upon taking allegiance and becoming a debtor owing an obligation to the state that you have joined yourself to. The scripture refers to it as a harlot. Why? Because of all of the commercial dealings. Another term for commerce is intercourse. You know, like a husband and wife have intercourse. Commerce. Why? Because it takes commerce or intercourse to produce a product. Later for that. So as a citizen, you become a member of a political community. And you are acting in a particular capacity. You didn't have that capacity until you became a member. So it is a capacity that is given to you at citizenship. It is known as an associated capacity. And through that associated capacity, you have established or submitted yourselves to the dominion of a government. And what is the significance of that? Once again, let's take a look. What is the significance of submitting yourself to the dominion of the government? What is this? What is the significance? The government suggests, hold on, let me get back at it. The government suggests what? Political involvement. And what are politics? These are politics that come from that government and to which you have joined yourself in an associated capacity, not in your natural capacity, mind you, in an associated capacity. You heard it here first. So since you have done this, again, you have agreed through social compact and contract to allow them to study you using artistic, clever means. And so they will weave and construct things against you. They will use well-crafted means against you. They will penetrate you through ingenious means, and on and on. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Please make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up button. I appreciate you for being here. Let's see here. I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. Let's move forward as the hour is getting late. What say you? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this topic thus far. Let's have a discussion. And then I will end with my conjecture. What say you? What is your opinion based on what I've shown you? Is it factual? Am I able to establish, have I made my case regarding politics, regarding government, regarding the Elohim, their legal constructs? About the serpent, the beast system? Oh, we've already done the mark of the beast. So it's the mark of this particular system. Excuse me. That's all it is. Have you been marked by this particular system? Do you wear its symbol? Oh, man. Of this particular system, which is more subtle and more cunning and more crafty than any other beast system of the field? Joseph Henson says, I believe you have stated a claim with and established your claim with primary source data. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Interested to hear your take on it, your understanding of it. Poke holes at it. Even if you're watching this on replay, feel free to poke holes at it in the comment section. I always pay attention to them. And to date, I always respond. And it is an organic response from myself. So just so you know, if you can argue against it, I'm open for debates. I'm always open for debates. I love debates. I think they're very healthy. So if you have an argument against that, please bring it. I welcome it. BB Production says, even if it's going to the mark of the beast or whatever, if you have an argument against my assertion and the facts that I have, what I call the facts that I have outlined, please, by all means, bring your argument and we can have this healthy debate on it. The mark of the beast is merely the system's mark. And I will go out there on a limb and say that everyone that is a so-called United States citizen has the mark of the beast. And I contend that it is not. The scripture says that it is the number of a man or the name, right? There was 3 of them. It is the number of a man. Here, I'll find that in a moment. Here, let me get BB Productions Studio 100. Thank you for that. Excuse me. Joseph Henson says, I have this SS number and the birth certificate, so I was given the mark. All right. Glad. I'll use that to segue into my assertion. It says the number of a man. Please don't forget where you hear this from. You'll probably hear other people talking on it now, but please give credit to where credit is due. That's all I ask for. This is free information. I am not charging for anything. All I ask for is proper recognition. I put in a lot of work, as you can imagine. Let's look at it. What does it say? Why is that up there? Wait a minute. Gotta fix that. All right, it says right here in Revelation, in the Bible, Revelations 13:18 states, here is wisdom. Let he or him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. Remember, we were talking about the number of a particular system. The number of a particular system. Let me fix this one moment. How do I do this? One moment. Bear with me. Let's see how I can do this here. Share screen. Yeah. Bear with me one minute. We're going to do this correctly. Come on. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so you can see it here. Calculate the number of the beast. For the number is that of, coming from, or belonging to a man. Let me say that again. So here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. For the number is that of a man. It comes from, or is attached to, or belongs to a man. And his number is 666. Okay. This number is often referred to as the number of the beast, or the man's number. Now, I want to there was another part of it, though, that I was referring to that I want to get. Let me see before we move on. Where's that scripture? Let's see what they're talking about. Here's the number. One moment. Okay. Or where it said it is the number of his name and blah, blah, blah. The number is that of a man and his number is 666. That's not the one that let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me see. Here, this may be it here. And that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark or the name. Yeah, right here. Okay. So you're not going to be able to participate in commerce and trade, as we covered, I think, last week. So in other words, you can say that whatever is necessary involving this beast system, right, to participate herein as a citizen or whatever it takes in order for you to participate in commerce and trade, okay, is what they are referring to. Because you can't buy or sell, which are commercial involvements. So you can't participate in commerce unless you have this. Now, in the United States, you'll be very, 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 very hard pressed to open a bank account, and to open a corporation, an LLC, to create an artificial person, to protect your personal rights, your assets, and whatever, those type of things. They won't be recognized by the system, especially in the United States, right? Unless you have particular things, a birth certificate, identification cards, a social security card, definitely, right? You can't can you work in the United States legally? Can you work in the United States without these things? So therefore, you can't participate in commerce and trade. Case closed. Got it? So that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark. I guess we're going to be ending up with the mark because I want to make it absolutely certain of what we're dealing with here. All right. We started with politics. Okay. We started with the science that is being performed on you by the government, but you signed up for it as a citizen, right? As a subject to the state, to the government. You signed up to be experimented on, and they're going to use clever, artistic, and skillful schemes in order to see what makes you tick. Okay? That's what we have uncovered thus far. Now we have morphed into the discussion on the system and its mark. This beast system and its mark. And so it says that without this mark, you cannot participate in commerce and trade, meaning buying or selling. You cannot do it. So all you have to do is examine yourself to see what it is that is required, a prerequisite to you participating in commerce and trade today. You can't open a bank account. You can't get a credit card. You cannot start a business. You can't become an employee unless you have several instrumentalities of state. Birth certificate, social security card, ID card. You know this, man. And you know this, man. So, yes, you have the mark of the beast, by the way. Are you shaking? Are you scared? Are you vibrating on a low frequency? Fret not, my people. Fret not. Listen. So you can't do it without it. You can't participate in commerce without it. Unless, or save he that has the mark. What's a mark? I'll be your huckleberry. What is a mark? Here it is. Let me reveal that for you too. What is a mark? It comes from this Latin word. Wouldn't you know it? Latin. That term is indicia. Dun, dun, dun. Indicia. Let me show you. Let me show you something. Let me see if I can get this working. Indicia. Etymology. This is where you get the word mark. Okay. So indicia, it's a noun, person, place, thing, or idea. Person, place, thing, or idea. Indicating or indications. Discriminating marks. Indicia. The Latin plural form of indicium. A notice. Information. Disclosure. Discovery. Okay. An index. Should we go down that rabbit hole? Index, late 14th century, the forefinger from Latin index, one who points out, discloser, discoverer, inform, foreign, forefinger, pointer, signed, title, putting what they call domestic relation titles on you as a citizen, changing your status. Inscription. This is where you get mark, indicia, etc., etc. Listen, list, literally, anything which points out. So this indicates, this mark indicates, where did I go? Indicates whose you are, what you are. The mark of the beast is an indicator. You see it here. Of whose you are, and when you know it, that to become a citizen, you become a member. You allege yourself to the state, and so likewise, you are marked. You are stamped with an indicia, a mark, that which points out, that which indicates whose you are, who you belong to. That's why you're marked. And this and the beast system marks you. This system right here. This system that is the most subtle and cunning beast of the field, which the Elohim, the gods, the mythological beings and creatures, they're mere men. Sorry to break it to you. Forget about the Anunnaki. It's all mythological. It's all meant to make you look over here while they're doing what they're doing over there, or over, that's all it is. Again, go see We Know the Truth Now. Look that up on YouTube. We Know the Truth Now. You're welcome. You're going to thank me for that one. Go check it out and let them know, please, just do me this one favor. Let them know that KnowledgeWell Media sent you over there. Okay, put it in the comment section. I plan to work with this gentleman. This guy. He is something else. He is something else. Okay? We need to protect that man at all costs. We know the truth now. You can look it up on TikTok. You can look it up on YouTube. Okay? But anyways, going to the comment section. Again, Joseph Henson says, I have the social security number and the birth certificate, so I was given the mark. Absolutely. I can prove that hands down, and that is what we are doing. Knowledge is power. If you know the purpose of a thing, then why fear it? Absolutely, 100%. In reference to the mark. Yep. Okay. Joseph Smith, 123 says 777. I feel myself getting stronger. Thank you for the 777s. BB Productions says greetings to Joe. Joseph Henson says you are discussing. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure how to take what's the context of that statement. You are discussing. Here, BB Production has done you a solid and put the link to We Know the Truth Now. Please do me one favor. If you're not going to do anything else for us here, please go on over there. Visit. You will not be sorry. This man is single-handedly uncovering the truth about people that look like me. Okay? But more importantly, discovering the truth about our history, where we truly come from, who we truly are, and what the Elohim, the Anunnaki, why they concocted these mythological beings and creatures to try to explain, us as humans and whatever. All of that's going bye-bye. Just telling you, it's going bye-bye. Joseph Henson says, thanks for your YouTube channel. We are the truth now. Okay. All right. Thanks for we'll mention that you sent me. Awesome. Appreciate it. That's all I can really ask for. Please read the comment before you are discussing. You missed the first part. Okay, read the comment before you are discussing. Oh, okay. So the comment before was, yeah, I thought I did read that. I have the SSN number and the birth certificate. So I was given the mark. Oh, that you are discussing. Okay, I got you. I got you, Joseph. So yes, it is my contention, and it is based on the evidence that all citizens have received the mark. The consideration is whose mark you have received. That's the consideration. We've all received the mark in this legal realm, this legal system, this legal construct made by men in opposition to the natural order. That's why they're calling it the New World Order. That's why they're saying that. They're letting you know that there is a transition that has taken place where the old world and its order will be no more. We are entering into what is called the New World, and subsequently its order, its new order. That's what is taking place. Dare I say that the spectacle that was yesterday, I'm not going to be specific in mentioning it, but you know what I'm talking about. There was only one spectacle yesterday that was like everywhere, okay? Is part of the ushering of us into the new world and its order. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? China. There is a book entitled Occupation of Planet Earth, a Liberation Manual. The author is Peter, and the book can be sourced on Amazon. It mentions the Holy Scriptures and some of the same topics because it's consistent, my man. Thank you for that information, though. Please go and check that out. Always appreciate Joseph Henson. You apparently do a lot of reading. I appreciate that. I got to get back to more of that. That's an inspiration to me, and I appreciate that. So I'll go over and check out Occupation of Planet Earth, a Liberation Manual. Thank you, courtesy of Joseph Henson. Really appreciate that. Listen, y'all. What are we saying? Let's sum everything up. Okay, what are we saying? And it appears that I am buffering. So I must have said something to tick somebody off. I must be on the right path. Is anybody else there before I go forward? Anybody else there? Let me know. Give me a 777 if you're still copying, because I'm showing on my monitor here that I'm buffering something fierce. Like I've literally, I think, been taken down. I am coming in clear. Huh. Oh. Yeah, I could have shown you my phone or my monitor here. It's just showing a spinning thing. That's interesting. Well, I'm glad you're still here. Thank you, Joe Smith, for letting me know. No buffering. Okay, awesome. Appreciate your participation. Joseph Henson says coming in clear. All right. So Joseph Henson says endless reading. Awesome. Appreciate it. Okay, the attack is on my side. Okay, duly noted. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate that participation. That means a whole lot. Y'all don't even know how much that means. Okay, so let's sum everything up. Okay, let's sum anything up and everything up. And if you need me to clarify and go back over anything to go deeper into it, please let me know. Oftentimes, there's a lot that I'm covering. There's a lot going through my head. I like to go more. So my teaching style is more off the cuff because I like to be organic, because I believe in the inspiration. You remember growing up in church and things like that, where they often talked about the spirit is the anointing comes over you, that inspiration, that spiritual interaction or whatever. That's kind of my teaching style. You'll know once the wheels get to really turn and you can kind of see the transition, right? Okay, so that's kind of my teaching style. So my point is, sometimes I might skip over something and need to mean to go back over it. And so I definitely covet your participation and putting me back on track. If you ever see that I kind of veer off and I forget to go back, please don't hesitate to put it in the comment section. I'm monitoring that. But let's do a summation of all the aforementioned discussion. So we started with politics, which is the science of government. All right. So science means the study of a thing. The government is essentially the disclosure that there is a controlling faction or factor to it, and they control you through the mind or the head. Okay, that's governmental. And again, it's through studying you. So they're watching you, the watchers, the Elohim, all right, which I contend are the elitists, the aristocratic families, the ancient bloodlines that keep this thing going. And they're able to do so in accordance with Blackstone from 1765-ish. They're able to do so through creating things like artificial persons, commercial persons, legal persons, these things that have a perpetual succession and that have a type of, quote, legal immortality. They have discovered the way to have eternal life, is the point. And they say that the reason they have done so is to keep rights afoot. In other words, to be able to continuously and successively hand down their wealth, their knowledge, the secrets, esoteric, and all those esoteric meanings and things like that, to keep their potency in their system, to keep that governance in their bloodline, their government. Okay, and so we went from there in learning about politics and why we have politics, what the intent, the founding fathers, the laws of England and whatever. We went into, how that affects us today in that spectacle that we witnessed yesterday. All right, in the political realm, because it is a scientific study of you, and you have signed on to be studied as becoming a citizen, which is a subject status. We looked at the definition of that in Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. So I'm making sure that, to cover all of the foundational groundwork so that there are no holes in my logic and reasoning. Okay. So you can disseminate through that information and determine as to whether I am merely conjecturing, as most YouTube channels do, or if I am doing a bang up job, as I believe Joseph Henson said, I am doing. I believe it was you. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And so then we went into the mark of the beast, the mark of the system. We talked about the system, that it is the most subtle, as Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 says, that particular serpent or beast system was the most subtle, or more subtle than any other beast or system, which the Elohim, the gods, the mythological beings, the creatures, had made. There's a disclosure there that the elite are the ones that created these legal persons, these artificial persons. Okay? They created it. And what you are looking at is a mask. You are looking at a mythological or a parable or a being or a parable or some kind of caricature of the elite themselves. They have written themselves into the history books, but they have disguised themselves, which is the definition of what a persona is, a mask that you wear to cover and obscure your own face. You know, like V for Vendetta, the movie, wearing a mask, you know, and then going against the government, et cetera, you know, vindictiveness. Like what are those parties called? Masquerade parties, where they would put the mask over their face so that they would obscure what they look like underneath. You could not find out who they were. This is what they do. Those upper echelon, those elitists, whatever, you know, they still wear masks and their rituals and all that kind of stuff. They still do those types of things. Okay, so nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Okay. And so this is why this particular system, this particular beast, and its characteristics and personalities are the most subtle and most cunning than any other. Okay. And they created this system. They created legalities and the American jurisprudence and whatever, and contractual in nature and all that kind of stuff, to create obligations upon you. Okay. They created this. This is a man-made construct. And so when you see the Lord God and even in the other, we covered this, I think, last week, let us make man in our image. See, you know, we always try to understand why, you know, the creator would use us. Let us. Who is he talking to? Well, that's because it's the Elohim, which is plural for the gods. It's more than one. These particular gods are monitoring, as we talked about last week, they are monitoring the sons of man. Listen, hear me. This is too easy, y'all. The gig is up. We've figured the game out. It's over. And this is why they're destabilizing everything. Everything's coming apart at the seams. Out with the old world and in with the new world order and its order. That's all that's happening because the gig is up. All right. So with that being said, prepare yourself because it's going to get increasingly and increasingly and increasingly more dark, starting with yesterday. So anyways, this is part of the experimentation. This is all that's going on. It's by design. It's not something that is beyond the control of those Elohim, the upper echelon, those people that have created these systems. It is very much a controlled demolition. Very much so. Hashtag controlled demolition. So with that being said, here's where we find ourselves. And so again, in summation, we went into also the number of the man, the beast. It's mark. A mark is an indicia. An indicia is that which indicates to whom you belong and whose you are. So when you become a citizen, you become a subject member of a, listen, hear me, political community. It is a particular type of a community. So the member, right? The citizen who becomes a member of that particular type of community is then marked so that it indicates which community you are part of. So let me give you an example. You carry labels based on the citizenship that you have become a member to. If you are from Wisconsin, you are labeled as a Wisconsinite. If you are from Illinois, you are labeled an Illinoisan. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, you are marked. That's the indicia, the mark of the system to which you have joined yourself. And to boot, they fit you with several instrumentalities listen to the term, of the state. A birth certificate of the state. That is the mark of the state. They fit you with an ID card of the state. It says state of on it. Whose property is it? Huh? And you fit your face on there and all your biographical information, symbolizing to whom you belong, whose you are. That is the indicia, the mark of the system, aka the mark of that beast. And lastly, you might have a passport. Well, let's say birth certificate, passport, ID card, and social security number. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's there. Those are your instrumentalities of state, the mark of the beast system. We all have it. We've all had it. What are you looking for? What are you further in search of? What more can I say? So stop running because it's already affixed. So take heart, fear not. And as David said in the Psalms, fret not. In fact, the fret not at evildoers is Psalms, I believe, 37. Fret not. Don't fear. Why? Because if you truly understand the legal construct of the state, of the governments, you'll understand that this is legal. You'll further understand that it is not a consideration of that which is natural. There is a distinction made. So therefore, natural man, whose God, not gods, not Elohim, whose God is nature, cannot be trumped. No pun intended. Cannot be trumped by humans. Humans cannot destroy nature. They can affect it, but they can't destroy it. You can't. How can that which is formed destroy the thing that formed it? You can't. Your arms are too short to box with God. You can't destroy it. Global warming, etc., etc. Come on, man. We haven't even discovered this earth yet. The population of this world does not, as far as people, does not even put a dent in the landscape of this world, this globe. Are you kidding me? You could pretty much consolidate the population of this planet in perspective, or from the context of human existence. You can fit it in a very small. If you gathered all the people up, it certainly wouldn't cover half of the world, and it certainly wouldn't cover a quarter of this earth. Come on, people. Rational analysis. Come on. It's a fear tactic. It's political in nature. You should know that. It was a politician that created the global warming, right? Politician, the science of how to make you tick, the science of your mind, how to control your mind. It was a politician that came up with this. Was he a scientist? No. Gore. Come on, y'all. Come on. So anyways, this is where I lost my place. Feel free to put me back on where I was at. We're going to be ending up here. Oh, we're after 2 hours. BB Production says, you give credit where credit is due. Not all channels do, which is highly commendable. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, please go and check out We Know the Truth Now. You'll thank me for this later. I plan to work with him. In fact, let him know that KnowledgeWell Media wants to work with him. I contend that I have the other part necessary to understand where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. So if you want to do me that favor, just let them know. I'm looking for him. I'm looking to work with him. This man is truly anointed. He's sent for a time such as this. I assure you of that. You'll thank me for that later. Go check out We Know the Truth Now and let them know. Please do me the solid. Just let them know that KnowledgeWell Media sent you all over there. I think he went live today. He goes live pretty much every day. Here's the link. We Know the Truth Now. I guess you can just copy it out of the comment section and paste it and then enjoy. You'll thank me for this later. Okay, so we were doing a summation. So yes, the mark is merely the mark of the system. It is an indicia. It is indicating to whom you belong. That's all it is. Okay, and we all have received that mark. Okay, and it is your power. It is your capacity to operate in this legal sphere. That's all it is. That's why it says it'll be in your right hand of power, meaning it's speaking to your capability to participate, to act, to have influence and make your mark in commerce and trade. Remember, you cannot participate in commerce and trade unless you have the mark. And again, can you open a bank account without your birth certificate, without your social security number, without an ID card? No, you cannot. Therefore, you cannot create an LLC. You cannot participate in commerce and trade. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That mark needs to be put in your right hand. Does that mean that you're going to have a barcode on your hand? No. Come on, y'all. The Bible is metaphoric, symbolic. That's why it says, let he who has wisdom calculate the number. No, it doesn't say that. My bad. I don't want to misquote. It actually says, and let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. That's what it says. Okay. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. I got it. I got understanding. I got it. That mark symbolically is affixed to your right hand. It's symbolic because the right hand is power. It always has been depicted as the symbol of power. Your right hand, my right hand man. That's what it is, y'all. Don't be fooled. You have to look deeper. Don't look on the surface. It's metaphoric, okay, and symbolic. So you have, and by definition, what is capacity? An ability, the power to do something. So the mark being affixed to the right hand of power is a symbol of your capacity. You now have been given power, legal capacity, legal power to buy, sell, or trade. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Joseph Henson, very good. Very good. I'll show you what he says here. Joseph Henson says, the social insurance number. Sin. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you for that, Joseph. You're in tune. The social insurance number. You think, oh, come on. You think these people ain't playing their game, political games? Come on. Come on. Come on, guys and gals. Come on. Come on. What a coinky dinky. Sin. What is sin? Separation from God. What is separation from God? Notice it doesn't say Elohim, separation from the Elohim, the gods, the mythological creatures. It's separation from God. What is God? The source. What is your source? Nature. Sin is separation from God. It is a blight against the soul, against nature. That's what it is. By definition, it is a wrongdoing, a wrongdoing against the natural. That's what sin is, by definition, right? A wrongdoing. And so with that being said, when you take on that mark, as Joseph so brilliantly conveyed here, it is a sin. a social insurance number. It is a mark, a right hand of power without which you cannot buy, sell, or trade. You are separated from nature. You are separated from the source from which you came under the natural order, and you are then inducted into the new world order, which is a system which is more subtle, cunning, and crafty than any other system or beast in the world. And this explains why we, U.S., being the second youngest nation in the history of the world, has ascended to the world power over ancient nations. How's that possible? All right. With that being said, I think I've said enough for today. It is 2 hours and 11 minutes and 45 seconds. I will give final time for your comments, your questions, your concerns, your arguments against what I have articulated and conveyed here today. Feel free to do so at this particular time. We will wait for you for a moment. What say you? It's heavy. Oh, let me end with this. I did say I was going to weigh in on the spectacle that was yesterday and the Trumpisms. I have not participated in what's known as politics for quite some time. I have weighed in on it because I'm watching from a distance. You know how it is when you're playing chess or checkers and someone on the outside is able to see more objectively both sides of the board, and they're giving you advice, and you're like, would you just let us play our game? It's called bird's eye view. It's called hindsight or whatever. Hindsight is 2020, because I'm not subjected as a player in the game. All right. I am not just focused on me winning the game, in other words, because I don't really have an interest except for I'm just spectating. So therefore I'm looking at it objectively, that my side is bigger than the players. And so with that being said, likewise with politics in my observation, I know that it is a game. I know that it is an experiment. I know that they will stop at nothing in order to get your attention and to create a narrative and to set an agenda. Does that mean that real people aren't injured? No, that does not mean that. During these spectacles, real people are not injured? Oh, no, absolutely not. In fact, that sells the experiment. That sells the study. Okay. They are going to use clever, again, subtle means to exact their will. They're going to do that. A lot of times, there's going to be collateral damages, which from the perspective of elitists and their mindset and what we have learned, they always look to things as this is for the greater good of the nation. Sometimes a sacrifice is necessary. Okay. You get what I'm saying? I ain't got to go into detail on that. That's just the way it is. Okay. And so politics in a nutshell, we went over it at length. If you missed it, please go back over this video. But this is what I contend is going on. And, there can be how should I put it? It can look as if they, the Elohim, the aristocracy, the elitist, they can make it appear as if they're losing the battle and still be winning. I've heard it said that the Roman power never really went away. The Roman cult, etc., etc. The king merely changed hats, put on the hat of the Pope, and surrendered the crown. So that way, because people had gotten sick of it. I've heard stories that the people were trying to throw the Pope off the cliff at one particular point in time when they had uncovered all of the diabolical schemes and the subjugations of humanity and all that kind of stuff in the name of legalities and man-made constructs and what have you. That there comes a point in time in history where the people eventually get tired of the rulership of the king, basically is what I'm saying. And then they start to bring the pitchforks and all that kind of stuff out. You know the histories. You've heard it before. And so, again, this is a clever system. They've been studying you for a long time. So they kind of know human nature, what the tendencies are. And so when they put on things such as the spectacle from yesterday, they full well know how you're going to respond. Oh, they full well know how you're going to respond. I got to be very delicate here. When buildings fall down, they full well know how you're going to respond. When they drum the message of war and rumors of wars, they know how you're going to respond. They've been observing you for a long time. They've been doing social studies on you. They've been doing mind studies on you, MK Ultra and all that kind of stuff. They've been doing all that. They have observed a lot of the military industrial complex is merely studying human beings and their behaviors. And that's what it is. It's all a social study. So with that being said, there's not much that you're going to do, or there's not many ways that you're going to react that's going to surprise them that have been studying you for quite some time. That's the point. That's what politics are. It always sounds weird to say it either way. Politics, is that plural? I don't know. If I had to guess, it sounds like it's plural, but it might be singular. So is and are. It always trips me up. Somebody put me on straight street. This is what we're dealing with, y'all. So spectacles like this, you can expect them. And you can expect, I made this. You can ask BB Productions. You can ask several people that have been around me for a while. I've been making these predictions. And you can go back in my archives and you'll see, but it's going to get way worse, y'all. We ain't seen nothing. This is only the beginning of the new world and its order. This is only the beginning. It's going to get increasingly dark. You better hold a good one. They have to destabilize everything in order to bring the new system online. Everything. Currency, government, etc., etc. I've gone out on a limb to say that this political system that we now have needs to go bye-bye. Take it for what you will. But as of yesterday, if you thought we were at a state of emergency before, what do you think we're going to be at now? And for all of you in the know, what usually takes place at the state of emergency? Do you not know that they can suspend the Constitution? I'm just putting it out there. For what it's worth. Okay? If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What happens if they suspend the Constitution in a state of emergency? Do you believe that this is now a shoo-in for the president, the past president to be the president again? Is this a shoo-in all of a sudden? Many people are saying it is. Joseph Henson says the Holy Roman Empire is alive and well. Never died. I have not voted in 20 years and I ignored the spectacle of yesterday. I mean, I didn't ignore it per se. I see it for what it is. Remember Neo in the Matrix? Okay. The point is, and the point that was made in that movie is, there comes a time where you don't have to run anymore. Because now you see the DNA of the system, as it were. You see it by the numbers. Right? So you no longer perceive the threat, in other words. You see why the threat is there. You understand that it is part of the system, the beast. And you understand that it truly has nothing to do with your natural existence, your natural law rights, your God-given rights, whatever. It has nothing to do with that. This is all legalities, and you have simply joined yourself to it in creating citizenship or taking part in citizenship. Literally, the definition is a legal link to the state. Humans become legally linked to the state. In other words, without that legal link, a human cannot be linked to the state. Without citizenship, you can't be linked to the state because the state is artificial. It is a body politics, as we learned. The only way you can be linked to it is through fiction, is what it's saying. All right, BB Production says, thank you for that. Politics are, so it is plural. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, well, we have a difference of opinion. Politics is singular, by my opinion. I don't know. Let's that would be interesting. Let's find out. Okay, somebody can do that. The Civil War never ended, nor did World War, since there was no treaty. Okay, I mean, I can't argue against that. That would be my sentiment as well. I mean, I've been observing this for, like I said, 9 years and studying this. They use the same tactics. It's all legal. And, oh, yes, I've learned a lot about the Civil War, by the way. Well, I've covered it. If you want to go back and look in the archives, perhaps I'll cover it later. We are under martial law now. Yeah, I think we've been in a perpetual state. But I think you'll agree with me, the new world and its order, we're still kind of emerging, and it's still emerging. And they're looking for a finality. They're looking for this to be the grand finale to usher us into that new paradigm. How do we know we're still in the old paradigm? Because we still have the United States currency. Even though it's destabilizing and people are giving up on it and throwing it back at us, it's still there. You can still take $1 down to the store. Okay, even though it will take $2 or $3 to buy what you used to, buy with $1 inflation. But it has to get increasingly worse, is my point. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. And I'm talking about in short order. They're moving exponentially fast, is what I'm saying. Exponentially fast now. Everything is going to be a blur. You know why it feels like your existence is speeding up? Yeah. Every day seems like it's going faster and faster. Yeah. Joseph Henson says, we are under World War I. Okay. So you're saying we're still under World War I? BB Productions, the study of politics is singular. The word politics is plural because there are multiple versions of political stances. Okay, the world of politics. Okay, the study of politics. So politics is singular. Okay, so we'll go with that. I think that sounds pretty logical and reasonable. So, okay. All right, very good. I think that's a good argument. I can't go against that. All right, with that being said, 2 hours and 24 minutes. If I forgot something, you got a quick second here to put me back on straight street. If I didn't cover something I said I would. While I wait on that, if you appreciate this information, and you want to encourage us to keep doing what we are doing, we would appreciate your CashApp donations to us. You can do so at $AmericanConsulate. Okay, $AmericanConsulate. Any small or big thing that you do is appreciated. All right. Also, if you would like to consult with us or to share information or what have you, you can always send it to our knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. That's knowledgewell, the number 4, the letter U, @gmail.com. Okay, that is our email. Also, we do have a Square site where you can purchase products that we have created. We being BB Productions, who produces our handcrafts, t-shirts, hats, cups, mugs. Okay, that's a great way to show your support. We appreciate that. So go on over to the Square site for that. There's also videos and in-depth studies that I've done over there. So you can show your support through purchasing one of those. We do have a Patreon, which we will be activating once again. Just kind of getting my feet underneath me as we get back in the office. I believe this is like the 4th or 5th live. And so I'm getting back into the swing of things. I still haven't cleaned my office. It's very messy, the studio here. So I have to get on that. I got to get back central focused. Kind of took a vacation from everything. Need more. Need water. As usual, nothing that you heard here should be construed as or is legal advice. If you need legal advice, please seek yourself a competent attorney and please be advised. This is for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. I don't like saying the entertainment, okay? Let me just say it's for educational purposes only, not entertainment. I'm not here to blow wind up your skirt, in other words, all right? All right. I think I covered everything. I'm looking at the comment section now. Joseph Henson says, war only ends by treaty. There was no treaty to end World War I. Hey, I can't argue against that. I can't argue against that. I have no argument against that. Thank you for that. Blessings to everyone, Joseph Henson says. BB Production, KnowledgeWell. There, okay, so she's putting the links in there for knowledgewell4you@gmail.com, which is our email. And look through the comment section. She's putting in all the links for you, for your convenience. Thank you. Also, don't forget to go over to BB Productions. She will put the link there for you as well, so that you can look through there, peruse through there, and find things that may be of interest to you. If you need t-shirts made, hats, cups, mugs, such as the one I'm holding here. And this is our Mandemic mug. Very nicely crafted. Okay. I think that's 10 or something like that. So it is, I don't think it's aluminum, but she does all the graphics on there. And this is from Mandemic, which is a new entity that we have created. She put the QR code down there, which is really nice, so that people can scan the cup if they want to know more about what is Mandemic. So if you need something like that made, custom made, and since she's hearing me, I'll say this. If you say that KnowledgeWell Media sent you, she's going to give you a deep discount. Okay. You can put your face on this if you want. She can do that. Send your picture or whatever, and she'll put your face right on there, or anything that you want, something that represents you, your brand, or what have you. Okay. Hit up BBS /boutique.square.site. Okay. If you could use something like that. And again, mention that KnowledgeWell Media sent you over there, and she will give you a deep discount. Okay. And there's her link, both on the screen right now and in the comment section, so that you can copy it. Double-walled stainless steel. Oh, okay. So it's double-walled stainless steel. I use them all the time. I have the KnowledgeWell Media cups. These are mugs. Okay. They are handmade. Beautiful artwork. Okay. Beautiful coloration, all that. So if you could use something like that, you could put whatever you want. She'll custom make them exactly what you're looking for. They come with a sealable cap. They have the seal there. I use them all the time at work and everything. They keep everything that's supposed to be warm, and they keep everything cold. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. You can have them custom made. All right, is the point. T-shirts, hats, same way. Okay, so go on over there and show your support for BB's Boutique. Okay, much thanks to you for your support. Absolutely. Again, don't forget to let her know that that KnowledgeWell Media sent you over there, and she's going to give you a nice discount. Okay. All right. With that being said, it doesn't look like anybody is telling me that I forgot anything. I want to say once again that I really appreciate you all for being with me and for showing your support week on and week off. It means a whole lot to content providers like myself. You know, without you, there is really no reason to be on here. So I greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to share this. It will be up on YouTube for your review. If you are watching this on review, you can still hit the thumbs up button. We greatly appreciate that. And you can still share this to someone you care about, someone who may have a different opinion than you do. You also subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and again, share it. We'll see you next week here, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We were 15 minutes late today. I'll try to be more punctual, but 11 a.m. Central Standard Time is the targeted time. Looking at the comment section, I see a comment here. Oh, live in light. Okay. Thank you for that. Live in love and light. All right. But otherwise, yeah, we'll see you back here next week, if not before. It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun, as they say. Don't fall for the political game. If you want to play it, play it. It's just a game. It's just a game. More on that later. We'll follow up on this with more study. Drop that like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, BB Productions. And now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? We'll talk to you next time. Thank you for being here. Peace.